Hello, everybody. How's it going? I hope that you are well. I'm feeling a little under the weather today. Um, you know, nothing major, just sometimes life sneaks up on you, and I think that I need to have a little bit of a rest today. So I'm feeling a little under the weather, but it's raining, and I love the rain. I'm one of those like ex goth kid weirdos that just absolutely loves the rain. So, let me get my chat up here so I can see. Bam. Okay. Um, so what are we doing today? I guess I'll get you caught up on what I'm doing sort of off stream, but I'm painting 17 of these guys and they're almost done. And so all I have to do is basically do a light, I think it's rust gray that I use, dry brush. It's extremely light. It's just to sort of mimic moonlight. And then I do a wash in some of the recesses to kind of make it look like it's, you know, sort of I'm looking for. Um, I don't know, like misty, I guess. That sort of thing. So, I'm almost done these guys. I think that I'll probably end up finishing them today, and then base rims, obviously. So yeah, 17 of those. I had 18, but I accidentally broke one, and I tried 5 times to glue it back together, and then it just looked real bad. So I was like, okay, um, I'm just gonna let this guy go because I have an odd number of these anyway. I got all of my Night Haunt in trade, pretty much. I think I bought like 2 kits. And everything else I got in trade. So there's just odd numbers of things. I don't know why I'd ever need this many Glaive Wraith Stalkers, but you never know. So, and I just decided to paint all of them at once. Sometimes I do that. Just paint all of them at once. So yeah, that's what I'm working on off stream. I'm gonna finish that, and then the commission, I took a commission and I still haven't gotten the models yet. So, like, every day that goes by that I don't have the models, it's like they get less and less of a good quality product. So, hopefully those show up this week and I get started on that. So, after these are done, I'm just gonna, like, I'm just gonna pick up one model and just, like, work on that instead of batch painting. Um, oh yeah, another thing. Oh, hey, Solar, how's it going? Is that the death of rats? I don't think they're rats. Like, I think they're like horse-headed ghosts. I honestly don't really know the like the lore of each unit of the Night Haunt. I literally got this as a painting project. um and then I played with them and I was like, "Oh, they actually have a fun play style," but I don't even think I read like the book to know like the fluff. Um but yeah, I think they're like horse skulls. Tanya, Tanya, Bobania, Banana, Fana, Fofania, Fee, Fi, Fomania, Tanya. So yeah, uh, today we are going to be working on the loveliest lady of the Astra Militarum. She is painted, primed black. So, you know, there's that. You can't really see much yet, but we're gonna work on that. I'm very excited, and it's been a year and a half. I think it's been like a year and a half since I've painted any guard. So let's see if I remember how to actually do this color scheme. Sorry for bumping you guys there. So I brought this guy out so that I have a reference of what I'm trying to achieve here. Um, so this guy I painted really fast actually, and so he used to come in a Bane blade, but I used him as the did they change the name of him? Um, Master of Ordnance is what I used him as back when he was really good. Could basically just give you like a free bombardment. Um, So yeah, he's out here as reference for me so that I can kind of keep it like cohesive with the rest of my force. Ah, the death of horses. That is grimdark. Age of Sigmar is really grimdark. Like I hear people say all the time, like, I don't like the lore, but like the lore is grim and dark. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm actually gonna go in with Iron Warriors. Oh, come on. Let's go. Autofocus. Let's go. There we go. So I'm going to go in with Iron Warriors, and I am going to just quickly dry brush anything that might end up metallic. It's going to be a very light dry brush, and basically I want to basically hit the base because there's like lots of rebar and stuff on it, but I also want to get her sword, the standard, which is very bendy, and we're going to have to be careful with that. And I think I'm going to do her scepter gold, so I don't have to worry about the scepter. And then I want to hit her guns a little bit there too. Do I? Do I want to hit the guns? Let me grab somebody with a gun. Let's see this guy. Yep, I do. There's going to be some metallic stuff on it. That's one of my old company commanders that you can't take anymore. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on, autofocus. There we go. Look at his, like, googly eyeballs. So great. Painted these so long ago. Okay. So, gonna do a little dry brush. I'm so glad it's raining. Like, I know now that I need the sunshine for my mental health, but I also feel like I need the rain for my mental health. Um, I just get really creative when it's raining. And when it's sunny, I want to go outside and I just get nothing done. Okay, so I'm almost at the end of this pot, but I believe in using stuff as much as you can. So we're gonna... Also, I need to do my nails, but I just haven't had the time to do it. This week, I'm gonna do it. Hey Tom, how's it going? Okay, so I'm gonna start with this standard. Now I am gonna paint some gold and other things on it. I just want to make sure that I'm getting some silver on there. And I just find that silver, like metallics in general, just look better when they're dry brushed on black instead of painting them on. That's just my preference. So that's why I'm starting like this. Um, Also really exciting news. So, I know I just said I'm really busy, but I took a part-time job and I'm very excited about it because it's actually doing stuff I love. There's a new game store that's opening. I don't know how much you all have been invested in my game store woes, but we had a game store that let us play, but like would not order stuff for us, even though we wanted to like pay up front and support the store. So we were playing there and that was fine, but we have to go to a different store to buy product. Like, does this make any sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me. So we'd have to go to a different store to buy product. Anyway, because that's a silly business model, the store um, basically is going to close at the end of this month. But for us as gamers, it closed a long time ago. Like, we just couldn't buy anything. So we've been without a store, just sort of go. And then, okay, so there's a second store in town, but like nobody likes to go there because the owner is, um, I don't want to talk too much trash, but like, yeah, it's just not a comfortable place. Like, he'll order stuff, we could spend money there, but we can't really play there. Um, so that sucks. Oh no, I don't want gloopy paint. How'd that even happen? Let's do this. So yeah, so we can't play there, but we can buy stuff. So now we buy stuff there. We don't have a place to play. And a couple of guys from my game group decided that they wanted to start a game store. It's what they wanted to do. And they had the means to do so. So anyway, they just announced July 1st is going to be the grand opening, and I'm just really excited because I get to basically work there part-time in the evenings, and I'm going to be able to run events and do some painting seminars for people um, who want to just learn how to paint basics. Like, obviously, I'm not going to be teaching anybody how to do golden demons or anything like that, but um, like little painting nights and stuff, and I'm really excited. I want to do ladies' nights as well because I think that that's a demographic that could potentially take off. Um, so yeah, I'm just really, really excited, and I feel like really blessed that I get to basically have two jobs in the industry that I absolutely adore, um, and getting to work in a game store that like really the mission statement really aligns with my personal mission statement. It feels really good, and to work with people that I know and love, and that's really great too. So later tonight, I'm going to like my first, I guess, business meeting in an official capacity. I'm very excited, very excited. Also, like basically the staff male to female ratio is like exactly 50-50, which is insane to me, which is awesome. I'm just so excited. Everything's going to be just so much better than what we've had before. So, brush question: do you periodically clean your brushes in batches, or do you clean them as you use them? I don't clean them. I just swish them around in the water really good. And the reason why I do that is because I exclusively use I use. You can tell I'm not feeling well. My brain is not going to be working right today. Synthetic brushes, and synthetic brushes really just do have a shelf life, and then after that they're just not good. So I don't really worry too much about cleaning them. I just try really hard to keep as much paint out of the ferrule as possible, and then swish them really good. I clean them often while I'm painting. Like I'll clean them in the rinse water quite often, unless I'm dry brushing, then I don't. Um, and and yeah, then when my brushes are like not holding a point or anything like that, then they become dry brushes. And that's just how I roll. I'm lazy, and my brushes are cheap, and I just don't think that they're worth all that effort. In my opinion, I got better things to do. I mean, if I used expensive brushes, I think I'd probably end up washing them after every paint session, but um, I ain't got time for that. So just dry brushing silver on black, I think just looks great. Honestly, you could hit it with a brighter, like maybe even lead belcher. You could put lead belcher on top of this in a lighter dry brush, and I think it would just look fantastic. Um, and I've been known to do that at at times. Metallics are pretty much the only thing that I do dry brush, and I always do it at like the beginning of the model because then I don't have to be careful. I don't have to worry about getting paint on other parts of the model because I'm going to paint everything else. So that's why I'm doing all of this now. I don't know what color I'm gonna want to do like all of the concrete. So I'm just gonna hit it with the dry brush as well, and then I'll figure it out later. Your Imperial guardsmen looked so angry. They do. I mean, they're guardsmen. Come on now. I think he looks like a little bit like he took too much pre-workout because his eyes are like, but I don't repaint things. If I can paint them better now, that's okay. I can paint another one, but I like to keep them the way that they were so that I can um, see the places that I have improved as a painter. Okay. So I'm just gonna need a little bit more paint, but I'm just gonna hit those pistols and then I'll move on to the base coat for her fatigues and greatcoat. I don't know what color to do her sash. I'm thinking maybe red. I feel like a red sash would be very like boss bitch. And it is one of the colors that I bring in on my tanks and stuff. So I might do that. Okay. Buckles. I'm just gonna hit the buckle anyway. And I think I'm gonna do her breastplate or plate the armor green, and then I think I'm gonna do the heraldry on the front. I think I'm gonna do that gold as well, cause like I said, boss bitch. She's the boss. Okay. Just make sure that I didn't miss anything. Which I don't think I did. And then with dry brushes, because I find like the more beat up they are, the better. So I actually just like crush them into the bottom of my water jar. Um, just get the paint out and then I just leave it in there. Okay. So yeah. Let's see if I can bring it up and you guys can see. Like it's got depth in the metallics just by doing that. I mean, you could maybe wash it if you want it to look dirty, but I think you could even just leave it like that. Um, looks pretty good. I'm probably going to be doing some details on there in gold. Um, and of course, like we're not painting them actual Acadian colors because my lore, um, I don't like to share it because people make fun of me for my lore sometimes. But with my lore, there's a reason why they're a different color. So, also Acadia doesn't exist anymore as a planet. So, you know. Okay, so that goes back there. The base for the fatigues in my army is Mechanicus Standard Gray. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in the palette. And I pretty much toasted this brush on these uh, 17 Glaive Wraith Stalkers. So I'm going to basically retire that one off. And then I'm going to go in with the brush that lasted basically one model because it's got a bit of a better point, but I don't care if I wreck it with the base coat. And then I've been using See, I didn't even like clean it that well last time, but I've been using this ivory pointed round recently, and it is a pretty good brush. It's very stiff bristles. But I just started using it, and so far the point is it's got a bit of a curve on it, which is fine. It's holding the point, which is more important to me. I actually prefer a little bit of a bend in that in the point so that I can edge highlight better. But yeah, I have no real comment on this yet, but we're gonna use it painting her. Okay, so a little bit of Mechanicus Standard Gray into the palette. But yeah, that Shiraz, like, that one I just retired, it, like, it did some work for me. She was not disappointed with her. What's awesome? That's awesome? What's awesome? Solar, what's awesome? Okay. So, her boots are going to be black, this I know. But I do want her pants to be gray, and they don't have to be gray all the way up, because that's in shadow. I made a tweet last night just because, like, so Twitter is like the place where I put my random hobby musings. And I also just find Twitter like a little bit difficult to manage. Um, I don't know. That there's it's got a different vibe over there and I can't quite make heads or tails of it. Anyway, so I did a tweet last night and then like I woke up this morning and I turn off notifications for everything, by the way. So if you can't get a hold of me, it's because nobody can. um so anyway, I woke up and I checked my Twitter and it's like this tweet has for me blown up and I'm like I guess people have feelings about stuff and it was basically about how because, like, there's a lot of content creators who get stuff from GW who are, like, complaining that people are complaining that they get it for free and they can't, like, other people can't just buy it, can't spend their money on it. And basically, I made a tweet that said, like, I understand how frustrating that is. Um, but, like, complaining to the content creator is, like, literally not going to do anything. You have to go complain to GW. They have to know that you're upset. And then you also have to sort of, as a content creator, like, if you don't want to get dragged, you also have to tell GW, you know? Like, that's the way it works. And I guess people had feelings about that. But that's just how I feel, you know? It's awesome that your friends are opening a game store and that you have the opportunity to create a space for community. Yeah! Yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. Like, it's been, like, I didn't realize how much of my socialization every week was at the game store till I didn't have it anymore. Yes, Twitter's tagline should say, "This way lies madness." There's a lot of really angry people on Twitter. There's a lot of really lovely people over there on Twitter too, but it's like you got to be in like the right head. Like I shouldn't say you, maybe y'all like to hang out over there, but for me, like I have to be in the right headspace to pop over there. Um, I can't just like be on there every day. I feel like yeah, when we say like chronically online, I feel like people who hang out on Twitter and TikTok all the time are chronically online. I think that's just like a recipe for being miserable. I mean, probably just hanging out on any social media all the time. I personally love going out and touching grass. I did that yesterday. Took the dog for a 5-kilometer hike. 'Cause it's one of the few things that my knees will sometimes still allow me to do. And that was really nice. Last time we went, he did not do very well at all, and it was exhausting trying to like get the dog to cooperate. And this time it was like night and day. He was so good. So that was good. That made me happy. She's got embroidery on her greatcoat, so probably going to end up doing that gold too, but I'm probably going to do that last, so I can just make sure it's not too much gold. I need to find more places for the green as well, 'cause she doesn't have that much armor. What's frustrating is the content creators that don't even collect the armies in the boxes still get sent the boxes. Oh, I understand. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's frustrating about it. And I think a lot of content creators could do better to like acknowledge that. I've been seeing a lot of like really defensive responses. Like, I work really hard for this. Like, yeah, you do. You do work really hard for it. But other people work really hard for their money that they want to spend on the things that they want to spend it on. And like not acknowledging that like probably the program is like not creating goodwill in the community. That's probably going to be like the first way that we can, as I say this, we as content creators, I don't get stuff from GW. Obviously I'm very like small time. But like just acknowledging that like, whoops, as I put a bunch of gray on what I just dry brushed. But yeah, I think like it's important to like acknowledge what's going on. That's probably gonna like keep your community at least not completely against you. But yeah, I really do think that like the problem begins and ends at GW, and complaining to the content creators is like complaining to a cashier that like there's no Twinkies because there's a Twinkie shortage. Like what the heck is a cashier gonna do? She just works there, you know? She's got like a little skull here. I feel like that would get in the way. It's like tied to her sword. The correct mindset for Twitter seems to be burn the world. A little bit, sometimes. So here's how I feel. I feel like if I was, I don't know, so apparently there's been a bunch of changes that have been made to the program, which is cool. And I don't think that we've seen those changes roll out quite yet. Um, but in the old program, like if they asked me if I wanted to be on it, I think I'd say no, because I think I'd be overwhelmed with the amount of stuff in my house. And like I feel like I would have to spend so much time trying to like find other people to give it to. Like I would only want the things for the factions that I play, but I get like a lot of the other content creators don't play, so they just take whatever, right? But anyway, I just thought it was just really funny that this tweet blew up. Like I thought it was the coldest take ever, you know? Like the coldest take. If there's a problem, take it up with the person who created the problem. Cold take, right? Maybe I should do a video about it. Should I do a video about this? Would that be interesting? I could like interview some different people and see their different takes on it. I could find some content creators who are getting guff. I could get some disgruntled fans. That'd be interesting. Just making sure that I got all of the areas. And this doesn't have to be a super perfect base coat because we're going to be washing and then we're going to be putting highlights on top. So it's more important to get the recesses in this part of the process than it is to make sure that like the highlights are perfect. So okay. What color should I do her skin? Like all my guardsmen have, well, except the characters. All the characters have like faces, but all of my guardsmen have helmets. So I feel like she should be kind of tanned. I might try to do her like a little bit less pasty. These guys are all like kind of pasty. Although with my lore, it kind of makes sense for them to be pasty. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. It'll probably be one of the last things that I end up doing on the model. So, okay. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I might have to pull out, it's because it's kind of cold and damp today. I might have to actually pull out the hair dryer. We'll have to see. Have to see how long that takes. In my experience, folks complain to whomever they feel they have true access to. This is true, and this is actually something that somebody brought up on the Twitter feed, was that like in absence of having a face of the company, like they just have like a weird James Workshop um, face of the company, but he's a joke. It's all a joke. So yeah, so somebody said that without having like a face to actually talk to, they in fact complain to the content creators, but I don't think that that's the correct call either. And that again is probably something that GW could address. Pezler, yes. Purple faces. I mean, Cadians have purple eyes, but I ain't painting no pupils on her. She will get eyes, but they will just be little black dots inside of white. That's it. That's how I do eyes. Yeah. Um, also, I have dog hair on everything. I'm really just not gonna have that much green on here. What else should I do green? I guess I could do her belt buckle green. That kind of makes sense. Her helmet down there is gonna be green. The breastplate is gonna be green with some gold detail. Maybe I'll just do the skull. If I just do the skull gold, that would be okay. What else can I do? I think these are called, the things on her shoulder I think are called epaulettes, so I could do them green. The little sort of ripped up part on the back, I can do green on the inside. Yeah. If I really need to bring more green in, I could paint like the top. I could sponge actually green onto the top of the concrete slabs. Something I could do. I do like a lot of theory and stuff while I'm waiting for paint to dry, like my color theory and whatnot. Um, what kind of doggos do you have? I have one dog. He is a husky cross, and he's a baby still. He's a year and a half, just turned a year and a half, and he's a difficult little boy sometimes. He's not food motivated, so training him has been um, difficult, let's just say. And he is extremely friendly. His favorite thing in the world is to make friends, but he can't read the room. So sometimes he wants to make friends with dogs and people that he should not make friends with. So I'm trying so hard to like get this thing to focus so that you can see what's going on, but it's dark. I wonder if I turn up the brightness a little bit. Let me see here. Properties. That's a little bit better. The white is a little bit blown out on the handle, which might make it difficult to autofocus, but let's try this. Let us try this. Yeah, you can see a little bit better. It's not that much better. What is the Streisand effect? And I don't really care if people don't like it. Lots of people don't like my content. I just find it really interesting to see like why do people feel the need to complain to content creators. It's very interesting to me. Um, I'm just swooping by. Thanks for the short video of detailed rules. Helps me a lot as a new player. Aw, I'm so glad that that helps. I am planning on doing those again very soon once I have the full rule set in my hands, because I've been going through the rules as I see them, and it's very clear to me that like we don't have all of the pieces, even from the leaks of the rules that we've seen so far. There is stuff missing, so yeah, I'm waiting until I have all of those in hand before I make any more videos for 10th edition about how to play. But I am gonna do it, so that is something that's going to happen. Okay, how are we doing here? We're still kind of moist. Let's see if I have my... Do I have my... Oh, I'm gonna grab my hair dryer. Okay. So low. I'm also just really looking forward to getting started with 10th. I can't wait to see the indexes so I can actually choose like which faction am I going to play. Am I going to play guard, or like am I going to enjoy playing guard enough to commit to that? Because I'm going to have to paint 2 Kasserkin. I'm going to have to paint 4 Cadian shock troop squads, a Rogel Dorn tank, at least 1. Like, I'm going to have to paint a lot to bring that up to speed to the new edition. So the rules have got to be fun enough that that it would be worth it. Or am I going to just take the easy way out and play Custodes because they travel better and they're easier for me to paint, quite honestly. So I got like big decisions to make. Oh my gosh, and I didn't do her sword after all of that. And I need a different dry brush because that other one is soaking. What do we have here? could use you. You're a little big. You are a glue brush. You need to be thrown out. Sometimes I get like crazy glue on my brushes, I'm not gonna lie. That's okay. I have like so many brushes to choose from. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and do a little bit more, because I didn't even do her sword. What a dummy. Replying to mob or negative comments, mostly in Twitter, encouraging, instigating, trolling, and harassment. I didn't really have any negative comments, though. That's the thing. Like, everybody was just, like, rather politely sharing how they felt about it. And I think that's partly because of the, like, I don't like to do like shitty spicy hot takes just to like get a rise out of people. Like I legitimately want to talk about things and like figure things out. And yeah, I think that that's like the culture that I cultivate on my personal Twitter. I think that's part of my brand too, is being um more curious than opinionated, if that makes sense. Play Golden Boys in 10th. New edition means a more level playing field. That's not the paint I want. Maybe. I don't want to make any real decisions until I see the indexes. I'm kind of leaning Custodes. I mean, Golden Boys. My guys are red. Um, but yeah, I don't want to like commit one way or the other until I see the rules. It's so funny. I'm like known as the orc chick or whatever, but I don't want to say they're my least favorite army to play, but I just like to play them. Like, I will play them, obviously. I'm going to play them. But I don't like to play them competitively because I just want to take what I want to take and I don't want to have to worry about, um, like making a list for the meta or whatever with them. I just want to do, like, dorky, like, just dorky lists that sort of vibe with me. Also, because they're all 3D printed, I don't want to have to like constantly send in photos so that I can get my armies okayed. Like if I'm gonna be going to events and stuff, which I will be going to events. I got my first ticket for 10th edition. So I'm going in August to my favorite tournament ever. It's so funny to you. Okay, so man, I just feel like so much stuff has happened. I'm so chatty. Um, Games Workshop opened up a store the next town over from me, which is crazy because as far as I know, where like up here in Canada and in my province in British Columbia, as far as I know, there's only like two or maybe three Games Workshop stores in the entire province. Like this is a space that's bigger than California. Like this, like GW stores just don't exist, and they're all in Vancouver. Like they're all just down there. Um, so it's absolutely nuts to me that the next town over has a Games Workshop that's opening. And anytime that I had gone to a Games Workshop store before, I've been completely underwhelmed. Just being honest, like there's just not a lot of interesting things besides like boxes of kits. Don't come for me. I just saying how I feel. Um, and so, but I did decide like there's going to be a lot of my friends going to the grand opening on Saturday, so I was like, okay, let's go. So we went, and it was absolutely too busy to shop. There was absolutely nothing going on. So the Warmistress and I like basically just stood outside and literally talked to tournament organizers because they had come up just for the same thing, right? See what they could see, and there wasn't really that much to see. So, like, standing outside talking to one tournament organizer who just lives the next town over the other way from me, And so we're talking. He's organizing a thing at the local Comic-Con and like wants to know if I'm coming, and I'm not. At least I don't think I am. I don't think I'll have an army ready to go for 40K by then. Um, and then out walks this other tournament organizer who lives like hours away. Like it's a huge, huge drive. And he's the guy who runs like my favorite tournament that I will drive for just because it's like so it's just such a fun vibe. Um, and so he walks out, and then we just start talking, and I don't know, it's just so funny. Like, go to see what the store is all about, and you just talk to the same people that you talk to all the time in the next town over. Um, but yeah, so yeah, GW store, and it was like underwhelming. Like my local game store here, the one that is like not that great to the customers, has a way better selection. They didn't have even one Imperial Guard tank. Like not one. What? I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have like a store that's going to actually cater to gamers and let us play there and have events and order us stuff, and I'm just excited. Okay. Um I'm going to start throwing on the base coat for the armor stuff and see where we get to here. See how much green I can actually get on here. And so I use I almost need another one. Don't worry, I have more. So this is German, I guess, GERC extra dark green. And it is very dark. It is almost black. And this is the base that I used for um, basically all of my Imperial Guard armor. So I'm gonna go on with this one again. Oh, listening to the little angel maker. If you like pig squealy metal, definitely recommend. Local boys. I mean, local to me is my province. So it doesn't look black yet, but when it dries, it gets really dark. And then I'm basically gonna wash this whole model with Nuln Oil. Normally I would wash the green with a green wash, but it's just so dark that I don't think it makes a difference. So we're gonna wash it black this time. That's gonna be the last step I do before I leave stream, and then we can start doing some highlights next stream, which is fun. I'm gonna do her belt buckle this green color. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do the sash red. I think that is gonna look really sharp. And then I can bring in that color that I have in elsewhere in the army. Do I prefer AR or AK? I don't know, like acronyms. I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, Rob, how's it going? I'm just throwing some base coats down. Everything that's like not a black, basically, color is going to be base coated. Except anything gold. Gold is probably going to be much later. Because I find that the gold is like a little bit harder to fix if I nick it. It's so funny, like people were complaining about how Ursula Creed was like ugly or whatever, and I'm like, does everybody have to be beautiful? Like, as somebody who's not like one of the pretty girls, I got really, really excited that I could see somebody like me in my army, and I had never had that before, so I never thought that that was like important. You know, like I had always just played armies that just had men models in it, and because the only other options that existed had been really like beautiful, good-looking, sexy women, and that's not me. I'm like built like a tank, you know, and she's also built like a tank, and so I just got really, really excited when they released somebody who wasn't like stereotypically beautiful. Now I understand why. Like I always understood, like, you know, representation matters, but I couldn't understand, like, as a fat, average-looking person, I just couldn't see myself in the women who were being represented. So now I understand, like, kind of why people get excited about that. I don't think I needed it to enjoy my army, but it does make my army more enjoyable to me. Like, if we could get some, like, thick, strong looking Sisters of Silence, oh, that'd be, like, the ultimate for me. Sirkin, I don't have any weapons, so, um, and I also live in Canada. We're not allowed to have those, so I have no opinion. Um, just had my last meeting of the day. Hey, congrats. Hopefully you can just go home. Um, I think she looks really cool. I think she looks really cool too. I think she's like a grizzled, hardened war veteran. And I also love that they like put her in the battlefield because I feel like sometimes the commanders that they give you, like, you can't really see them out there fighting. But I feel like she would be out there fighting. I wouldn't mind Plumper's sister's Repentia. Like, yeah, like just like the beef, you know? Because I feel like, have you ever seen like a CrossFit woman, a competitive CrossFit woman? Sometimes they have like big barrel chests, you know, like they're very like thick everywhere, not just in their like arms and legs. You know what I mean? I would love to see that build represented. Welcome back, Tom. Not sure if I'm going to build her with the helmet or without. Leaning towards helmet. Yeah, I had a really tough time deciding to. Um, but I took the helmet off because I kind of feel like in my head I can see her like kind of mounting a last stand and then just being like, you know, sick of it and just like pulling the helmet off. Um, so I could really, I don't know, that's why I went with that one. But the helmeted head looks really cool too. thick girls are definitely what's up. Yeah, I agree. I think that it's a nice look. I mean, I played roller derby for a really long time, and like all body types were represented, and it really is nice. It just is nice. We had like very slight, very tiny women, and we had like big old strong linebackers, and I just could see beauty in all of them. So I agree. Okay, so we obviously need more green. I think I'm gonna paint the laurels on the sign gold. I'm gonna paint. They have these like little ropes coming down off of, if you see here, like little tassels coming down. I'm gonna paint those the green. So I'm gonna go in with that. How many years did you roller derby? Um, 6 years? I think 6 years, which is a really long time for roller derby. Um, most women don't make a year. 3 years is kind of like the upper limit, but genetically I'm predisposed to arthritis, so and derby really like sort of sped up that process. So I wasn't able to keep going, and in fact there's not much I can do in terms of exercise anymore, which really sucks. Um, but c'est la vie. We do what we can. Um, and I would not. I would do things differently, but I wouldn't. Um, I would definitely do roller derby again if I had to like redo all of it. Um, but yeah, she wrecks you. She's a tough sport. She is a tough sport, that one. Realistic proportions on games, comics, and animation would be a welcomed change. But what do I know? I know, right? Like, even. I think that's also, like, why I enjoy ogres. It's partially why I enjoy ogres, is because it's, like, a different body type to what we normally see in wargame minis. I affectionately call them the dad bods because they got that like big barrel chest and the tummy, and I also think that that's like a breath of fresh air. Also, like they're my spirit animals, so there's that. Oh, I hear a puppy dog coming. Maybe he'll come in and say hello. He is coming in to say hello. Hey, buddy. How are you doing? Oh, what'd you hear? He's on watchdog duty. Are you on watchdog duty? Oh my gosh, you're so handsome. Yes, you are. You're so handsome. Come here. Come here. Oh, Mr. Grumbly. How you doing? Were you sleeping? Were you sleeping? Hi, buddy. I'd make a good ogre model. Honestly, like I feel like I'd make a good ogress model. Like if they need somebody to sit for the model, like ogress. That's me. Derp Dog is getting big. Yeah, he's 70 pounds. That's probably as big as he's gonna get. 70 pounds is 35 pounds bigger than I thought he was gonna be, but yeah. But here we are. Um, the one thing I can really say about Back 4 Blood is that comparing it to Left 4 Dead highlights the need for a diverse collection of silhouettes. I have not played either of those, so which one is better? If I was gonna pick one, which one is better? I can't wait to see like the glamour shots of my ogres from PlayOn. Like my models never look better than when they're being photographed by PlayOn. If you're going to pick one game to buy, Left 4 Dead 2. It includes all of Left 4 Dead's levels and is just overall better than Back 4 Blood. Okie dokie. Can I play co-op, but like split screen co-op? Because that's my favorite way to play. Okay. What else can be green on here? If I'm gonna do green on the bits of concrete here, I think I'm gonna have to stipple that on once everything else is done, just so it can kind of look like chipped up and worn and stuff. So, do I want to do any green on her sword? Let's see this guy's sword. He's got a chain sword, which definitely has green on it. His sword is a power sword, and the grip is green. Hmm. I think I'm gonna do the handle on hers gold. Maybe not. It doesn't look that fancy, actually. Everything she owns is like standard issue, which is interesting. I'm just gonna do a little bit here. Let's do her grip and then maybe this little sort of power supply looking thing here. Or should I do that black? I'll do the power supply black. Let's just do the handle green. Couch co-op. Yeah, it's my favorite. I don't think you can on PC, but on console you should be able to. Looks like there's mods for PC. Huh. Interesting. Dog hair on everything. I don't really have to get in here. I'm just going to do a little bit on this corner because it's in the shadow. That's good enough. A little bit of green. Let's take a look at this guy's pistol. He's got a bolt pistol. I think I'm going to do her grips green. Okay. Green grips. I do feel like I should bring in some green on the banner. Standard, I should say. Should I? Like, I do want it to be mostly silver. I do want to have some gold. I'm kind of leaning like gold laurels because that just makes sense in my head. Um, what would I do green on here? The wings? Maybe nothing. Maybe I just do gold laurels and then that's it. Might be the judgment call. Because, I mean, he doesn't have that much green on him either. Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay, that's it. So now I'm just going to grab my Nuln Oil, which is like gold now. And I'm just going to basically coat the whole thing in Nuln Oil, including all the metallics. I haven't used this in a while, so I'm just going to shake it up real good. Real good. Okay. And I'm probably going to grab a softer brush for this and a bigger brush because I just don't want to waste time. So I'm going to I'm going to use an old brush for this because I'm just going to cram that wash in everywhere. So old beat brush, since it's just going on literally everything. And a little bit of water. 'Cause I haven't decided. I'm kind of leaning towards like gold on the embroidery, but I'm gonna wait till the end to make up my mind because I might just decide um, to do green in the end. And if I do that, I don't think I actually need to put that dark green base down. I think I can just go straight on with the mid-tone green. Man, it's like so crazy going back to this. Like, I feel like as a painter, I've grown a lot in the past year even. So it'll be interesting to see how she turns out compared to like my older models. Hopefully she'll look better, but still like cohesive. Like she still goes with the army. It's like the ultimate goal. So I don't want the wash to dry. Um, like I don't want to move on to like another part of the model. I want to make sure that I finish coating her entirely before I move on to the base. Just because I find like sometimes when the wash dries and then just because of surface tension or whatever, and then you go back and like try to wash the rest of it, it doesn't look as good because you've kind of got like a part that's got like a line through it or whatever, which is not the end of the world. You can work with it, but it's still kind of annoying. So I don't have to do her boots because they're just going to be black at the end. I've been futzing with oil washes. I see the appeal. I understand the appeal too. I'm just like impatient and I don't like waiting that long for washes. Especially if I'm just painting like a character or whatever. I just want it to be dry so I can move on. I mean, you guys see, like I use the hair dryer a lot because I just want to keep at it. Just keep going. I don't want to stop. And with the silver metallics, if we get different colored paints or whatever on it, it is um, it's quite easy to fix it. So that's why I do it at the beginning, is because I'm not too upset if I nick it with other colors. Obviously, we want to try and be as careful as possible so we don't have to do much um, in terms of fixing it later. But I'm still gonna do a dry brush after this wash dries, which will actually end up taking a lot of the mistakes and stuff out of it. And that's a more um, targeted dry brush, so I'm going to use a smaller brush for that, and it will, yeah, it'll just like fix a lot of the mistakes. Now I'm just going to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And I know it all looks really dark, but I feel like base coats should be dark. They should be actually a lot darker than the color you want it to end up. So now I'm just going to let that dry. I like to watch for a little bit just to make sure that um, the wash isn't like pooling in weird areas or whatever. Doesn't really matter too much on the base, but on her jacket, like here's a little thick, so I'm gonna try and sop up a little bit. These creases are a lot sort of deeper, and they're in the back, so I like the way that that's pooling. Yeah, I don't think that that's going to pool weird, so that's fine. We're good. We're good. I'm going to put all my crappy brushes back in the crappy brush bucket. I think it's really good to have like a few beat up brushes too, that you can use for dry brushing and whatnot. I mean, maybe you're like one of those people that bought the like $180 dry brushes from Artist Opus, but that ain't me. I'm not that person. Um, so those ones are gonna go back into the we're not quite done yet bin. Okay. So yeah, that's where we got to. Base coat's on. I actually don't think she's gonna take that long to paint. Should I try and paint her face on stream? I mean, I could wear my glasses for it. I'm not gonna do it now because I have to wait for my wash to dry, but am I actually gonna be able to like see it if it's not right up next to my face? I can try. Would you like to watch me paint a face on stream? Whoops, as I touch the banner. Let's see if we can get it to focus properly. Come on. No? You just don't wanna? Yeah, I tried to mount the, so I bought a specific mount for my fancy new camera, and it's too heavy. It said that it was rated for like 3 pounds, and it's not. My camera is like 1 pound, and yeah, it would not hold up. Like it wouldn't hold it up like up and over me. So I can still use it for recording the vodcast, which I'm going to start this week, by the way. I'm starting the first recordings tomorrow. Pretty excited about it, not gonna lie. And so it's not like completely useless, but it's disappointing. I wanted to use that for streaming. And then in order to get a rig that sort of like attaches to the desk and goes like up above it, like so that I could actually mount this camera, um, I'd have to spend as much money as just buying like a 4K webcam. So I'm trying to decide, do I buy the rig or do I just buy the webcam? I'm kind of leaning towards just like the 4K webcam, because then I can just leave it plugged in and I don't have to worry about like switching things in and out. But that's another big investment for me that I need to really think about before I do it. Um, so I was very disappointed. Um, paint the face off camera in case you want to throw her. I wouldn't throw her. She's too pretty for that. The vodcast isn't up yet, so it's not a live thing. It's going to be recorded. It has segments. It has guests. It has a co-host. And yeah, I'm just figuring stuff out. So I want to get a few episodes done and in the can so that I have an idea of how much work it takes, and then I can decide like a release schedule based off that. Um, so yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. But I'm really excited because I'm going to start actually recording tomorrow and get some segments in. And yeah, I'm just really excited to start this sort of like new journey off on the way to um, to the new edition. So, and it is a 40K vodcast. I mean, it's not specifically a 40K vodcast, but it's going to be mostly 40K. Little bit of Age of Sigmar in there as well. All right. Well, we actually did more on stream than I thought I would get to, so that's cool. And then next week we're going to start on doing the highlights on her as well. Very exciting. And then maybe if I get the highlights all done on the jacket and things, then maybe I'll start base coating the next little bit, which would be the red sash and maybe base coating her face, things like that. So that's what we're gonna do next week. I'm gonna probably go take the dog for a walk and then have a nap so I can start to feel better. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I know it was like a little bit of a chill stream because I'm just a chill person. I'm also under the weather, but thanks for popping in. I hope that you can come in next week to watch me paint more on this lovely lady. If you have any questions for me, comments, concerns, anything like that, best way to get in touch with me is through the Patreon Discord. I am always active in there, and it's the only place that I really get notifications. So everywhere else, I am kind of just there when I'm there, which is usually once or twice a day. Come in and check my messages. So yeah, that's all I got for you today. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. I hope that you get to play some games, or you get to paint some minis, or I don't know, just enjoy yourselves and stay safe out there. And until next time, everybody, be nice and roll dice. Bye bye.